Hi, thanks for joining me today. This video is going to explore some poses and movements to help you warm up your joints before you ride your horse, or if you are not a rider and you're doing other physical activity, going for a walk or a run or hiking or playing tennis or whatever you like to do. Will be really beneficial to help warm up the joints so that you can feel nice and protected. Your joints can feel nice and protected and warmed up as you are doing your activities. So we're going to start seated. You can do this first part in a chair if you'd like. I'm sitting up on a folded blanket. You can use a few saddle pads. If you're an equestrian, you have a lot of those around, or a firm cushion or anything that helps to give the hips a little height. If you have yoga blocks, you can have those. You don't necessarily need them. I will show you an option with those yoga blocks, but you don't have to have them today. So starting seated position. So just lift your sit bones up onto the edge of that blanket or cushion or whatever you have to sit on. Find a nice alignment of your spine. So feel even weight in your sit bones. Think of the sternum lifting. Let your collarbones be nice and wide. Energy up through the crown of the head. Let the chin soften down slightly. So get rid of this tech neck. Make sure you keep that head right on top of the spine. Your hands can rest on the thighs with the palms up or down, whatever feels comfortable. And just start by letting the eyes close or take just a soft gaze down. And just take a few moments to just check in with how you're feeling today. Just noticing any sensations in your body, any areas of tension or tightness. Notice your energy level. And then notice your breath. And as we move through these simple little stretches today and little movements, you want to keep a steady flow with your breath. So start by just taking a deep breath in through the nose and a long breath out, either through the nose or through the mouth, your option. I'll do that a couple more times. Breathe in through the nose and breathe back out. A little ha sound as you exhale. Once again, inhaling. And exhale. And then very gently let the eyes open. So find a steady flow and rhythm with your breath. Again, just find that nice long inhale, nice long exhale as we go through these little movements. And we're going to start with just a little bit of movement for the head and neck here. So we start to work that the joints right where the head sits on top of the spine, the top two vertebrae, the atlas and the axis. So just find a soft gaze forward, and then just imagine that you're going to draw a circle with your nose. So think of just taking a small circle. So maybe think, apple or orange size, not a real big movement, but just take a little movement circling one direction a couple times, and then take that circle, go the other direction. Again, just keep that steady flow with your breath. And then coming back to center, take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, just gently turn your head to the right, just as far as it will comfortably go. Notice sensation, notice where you're feeling the stretch. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, take your gaze to the left. Inhale, back to center. One more time like that. Exhale, just gently turn the head to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, gently turn the head to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Now a little bit of lateral flexion. Nice deep inhale. Think of the spine lengthening. As you exhale, send your right ear towards your right shoulder, and then ever so gently take your gaze towards that right shoulder. So getting a little stretch in the left side of the neck. Inhale and exhale. And then bring the gaze back to center, come all the way back up. And now think left ear towards left shoulder, and then gently take your gaze down towards that left shoulder. I might have said left the first time, I meant right, I'm not sure. You know what I mean. Go to the second side. So feel that stretch on the opposite side of the neck. And you might notice that there's also stretch going on the side that you're looking towards and you're turning towards. So just notice that. And then let the gaze come back to center. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reach the fingertips down by your side. And now inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Squeeze them up, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Exhale, let them drop down. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, release them down. Good, one more time. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, let them release down. And then we'll start some little circles with the shoulders. So your hands can be down by your side if it feels more comfortable for your hands to be on your thighs, whatever. So inhale, bring those shoulders forward, up towards the ears, back and down. So just explore some movement with the arms, the shoulders. Again, fingertips can be on the mat if that feels better. Just notice which place gives you the best range of motion. And then do one shoulder at a time. So circle the right shoulder forward, up and back and down, and then the left shoulder. And you might notice that as you do this individually, you might find that you have a little bit more range of motion. So just notice that. Good. And then once again, come back to center. Shrug both shoulders up. Exhale, let the shoulders release down. Now fingertips by your side. Inhale, float the arms all the way up. Reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, let the arms float down. So again, a little bit more movement for the shoulders. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, let the arms float down. Good, one more time. Inhale and exhale. Now bring the hands in front, just let your elbows bend and just do a little circle of the wrist. You know, when we are riding, it's important that we are nice and soft in the wrist and the hands. So circle the wrist each direction, maybe do a little, you know, make a little fist and extend out, you know, just a little movements for the fingers. You can take the hands, turning the palms facing forward, the fingertips down, and do a little pull back or a little press back on each side, and then do that the opposite way, hands forward, do a little pull back. Again, just feeling that little stretch up the arm, and then shake that out. While we're seated here, go ahead, switch the cross of the leg, so the opposite leg is in front. Let the hands again rest on the thighs, or on the knees this time rather, and now circle the ribs here. So as you circle the ribs, we want to think of letting the belly draw back a little bit as we come back, and then think of shining the sternum a little forward as you come forward. So again, just getting some movement in the body, in the joints. Make sure you're breathing. And then change the direction of the circle. Notice if that feels any different to go the opposite way, you know, different sensation. Different movement for your breath. And then once again, come back up to center. Hands again right on those kneecaps. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, lift the heart and the sternum. Take the gaze forward and up. Now, if that doesn't feel good for your neck, think of keeping the sternum lifted, but maybe to keep the chin towards the collarbones a little bit. And then as you exhale, round the spine, think cat pose here. Draw the belly in, take the gaze down towards the belly button. Nice stretch through the back of the body. And then inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, lift the heart and the sternum, gaze forward and up. So do that a couple times with the breath. Exhale, big stretch to the back of the body. And then inhale, big stretch to the front of the body. Good, one more time. Exhaling and inhale, and then come back to neutral. Nice length in the spine, and then let's come to all fours. So whatever you were using to sit on, you can move that out of the way. Come to a table pose. So wrist underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Extend your right leg back. Press through the heel, so we're getting this nice stretch across the sole of the foot, and then do a little roll forward and back across the toes of that right foot. So we're starting again, we're warming up a little bit through the toes and through the ankle, and a little stretch up the back of the leg. Press back through the right heel. Think of lengthening through the crown of the head, then bring the right knee in. Now extend the left leg out. Again, same thing. Press through the heel, feel that nice stretch, and then that little roll forward and back across the toes. Keep the spine lengthened. So resist the temptation. We might, want to look back and see what that foot's doing, but then we're getting all this pressure in the back of the neck. So keep lengthening through the crown of the head. And then once again, press back through that heel, get that nice stretch, press into the top of your right foot. Now bring that left leg back in, wrist again under the shoulders, knees under hips. Exhale, round to a cat pose. So same thing we were doing seated. So nice stretch to the back of the body. Inhale, let the pelvis tip forward, lift the heart and the sternum, take the gaze forward and up. Find that stretch in the front of the body. So keep that going with the breath. Exhaling. So think of we're getting this articulation of the muscle, of the joints of the spine. So all the vertebrae. Imagine that the vertebrae are like a strand of pearls and that each one is just following the one in front as you move here. Good. So nice release for the spine. And then come back again to neutral. And we're going to extend that right leg back once again. Start with the toes to the mat. And now lift the right leg. And then just bend your right knee and straighten your right knee. And bend and straighten. So we're getting a little bit of double work here. We're working, we're getting some movement in that knee joint, but while you're here, we're working the core. We're getting some work for the hamstrings and the back of the legs and those glute muscles. And then extend that leg again all the way back out, bring the toes down. Now bend your knee, and now we're gonna circle the knee here. So as you circle the knee, so now we're taking that movement into the hip joint. Don't circle so big that you lose the alignment of your hip. So we're gonna keep thinking of that core engagement here. So just circle that knee one direction a few times, keep breathing, and then circle the knee the other direction. And then come back to center and bring that knee all the way forward, that foot all the way forward, come to a lunge. So here is where, if you would like, you can take those blocks. You can also use a small stool, rest your hands on your blocks, and we're just going to do a little move forward and back here. So as we move forward and back, we don't want to go so far forward that we shoot this knee past the ankle. So you want to step that foot out a little bit. So just that little gliding movement here, a little bit more movement for the hip. And then very gently come back to center. If you were using your blocks, move them out of the way, both hands to the mat. Step that right leg back. Exhale, round to that cat pose, get a nice good stretch. Inhale, come back to your table pose. And we'll do that same little sequence on the second side. So extend the left leg back. So find that length first. Press into your top of your right foot for stability. Lift the left leg. And then just bend the knee and straighten the knee. And bend the knee and straighten. Good, a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. Keep that core working. Inhale and exhale, and then release the toes back down, and then release that knee back down, and then we're going to take that knee and circle the knee. So taking that movement now into that hip joint, and then circle the other direction. Again, make sure that you don't make that circle so big that you lose the alignment of your pelvis. So you might need to make it a little smaller. And then let that leg come back to center and then step it forward. Same thing, you can either have your hands on the mat and just shift a little forward and back here, or hands to your blocks. Just brings the ground up to you. Good. Inhale and exhale. And then once again, come back to center. If you have those blocks, move them out of the way, both hands to the mat. Step the left leg back. Exhale again, cat pose, nice stretch to the back of the body. Now inhale, come back to your table pose. Bring your hands in front of your shoulders. Press into the fingertips and the base of the knuckles. Curl the toes under, lift the knees a couple inches off the mat, and then keeping your knees bent, send your sit bones up and back. Come to a bent knee, downward facing dog. Nice length in your spine. Then once you find that, go ahead and start to pedal the feet. Do it nice and slow. Just press down through the right heel for a breath or two. And then bend the right knee once again. Press down through the left heel for a breath or two. And then start to do it a little bit more with each breath. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale, and then maybe come to a point where the legs are a little straighter and you inhale and come way up onto the toes, lift the heels, and then exhale, let the heels drop down. Inhale up onto the toes. It does not matter how far the heels go down. The heels do not ever need to touch the floor, but just feel that nice stretch in the back of the legs and that movement in the ankle joint. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, lower down. Now bring both knees down to the mat. Bring your big toes together, bring your knees towards the outside edges of the mat, the hands towards the outside edges, send your hips back towards your heels. Let the forehead release down to the mat. You can also use one of those blocks for a little support if you need. And once you are there, again, head resting heavy on your mat or on that block or even a firm cushion, very gently let the head roll to one side. Keep the head heavy, roll back across the forehead, and take that look to the opposite side. So again, little movement here for that joint right at the top of the spine. And a nice massage across the forehead. And then come back to center, come to stillness for a few breaths. Really think of breathing into the back of the body. And then press into the hands, come up to your table pose, and then just swing the feet off to the side. We're going to do one last little movement in our seated posture. So have that blanket or cushion close by. But start with your feet nice and wide to the edges of the mat, fingertips behind you, and just let the knees drop to one side and to the other side. So again, we're getting that a little bit more movement in that hip joint, hip socket. Make sure you're breathing. We have that nice length in the spine. And then come back to center. Whatever you started off seated on, go ahead and come back up. Find that nice length in your spine again. Close the eyes. Again, just check in, see how you feel. Inhaling and exhaling. And then as you're ready, gently let the eyes open. So thank you for joining me for that sequence today. So again, all beneficial, simple little movements to get our joints moving. You know, when we get on our horse and we are ready to ride, we do a nice long walk to get all of their joints and everything moving. We need to do the same thing for ourselves. If we do that before we get in the saddle, then our horse is going to notice how much more easily we are moving with them and how much more easily we are to carry. So thanks again for joining me today. I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Please check out Grey Horse Yoga in the info section and give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my video, or excuse me, subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Have a super great day. Bye-bye.